Welcome everyone to our City Council meeting for Monday, August 28th. If Madam Clerk, if you call roll to establish quorum, please, ma'am.
Mickey Schneider?
Here.
David Mitchell?
Here.
Nick Adamson?
Here.
Bob Thomas?
Here.
Christy Kendrick?
Here.
Terry McClung?
I'm here.
We have 6.
All right. Did stand, pledge your allegiance, please.
Sorry.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I can get a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Got any additions or corrections?
Yes, I would like to discuss the November 13th City Council meeting. November 13th.
It's upcoming.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'll second it just to hear what it is.
Anything else? All those in favor of approving the agenda as amended signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's so moved. Get a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections, additions? All those in favor of approving the minutes as submitted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I abstain because I wasn't here.
All right. 5-1. So moved. So noted. We do have some vacancies in our planning, the CAPC, the hospital, parks, and cemetery. So we've got some vacancies out there on some of our commissions. If anybody's interested in coming in, please contact my office and see about filling out an application. So, public comments.
Hello, my name is Jeff Gregory, and I'm here representing the Cat House, my wife Angela Gregory, Fred and Amanda Lydick. I guess most of y'all know me. I'm kind of hard not to see around town, but we bought the Cat House about a year and a half ago. I know I've only got 3 minutes. I'm going to keep it short. It's been a lot more than we ever thought of. I'm in the construction business. I build drug rehabs for nonprofit Christian charity in Oklahoma, so it was way more than we took on. But we've tried to be as community active as we can, as socially responsible as we can, and trying to adhere to as many people's wants and desires when it pertains to our business as we can, as we hear about them. It was kind of rocky in the beginning. Thomas, the chief of police, we worked with him. We call him regularly to check our sound levels and everything. So to kind of wind things up, things have changed this year to how permits are being issued to us from Ann. There's like a process. Is this a city event? Is it a music city event? Is it a decimal readings or whatever? I think maybe from what we know, from me and my wife understand, 11 o'clock is probably too late for us to play music because of where we're situated, maybe than other people. But I think Eureka needs the music scene back. I think it needs to be as strong a part of our growth within the community. And I'm telling you, financially, it's hitting us about $2,000 a weekend when we can't play music. That's tax dollars that you guys are losing. That's profits and salaries that my kids are missing up there. I got 30 employees and can expand. I've been waiting a year and a half on a building permit. We've stayed back and laid back and wanted people to get to know us for who we were because there was a lot of misconceptions out there. Kind of done with that. We're good people and we want to grow our business and we want to grow with Eureka. There's a lot of things on the table right now. So we would like for you guys to check into this sound thing. We want to work with y'all, but we're not going to be strangled anymore by business, by building permits or anything. We're going to take all necessary measures to do that. But we want to work with y'all, and I'm more than open to any of y'all to come up there and talk to Angela at any time or work it out among yourselves or whatever. But at this point, we're asking for help and try to work it out before we have to go any further. That's all I got to say.
What's the best way and time to contact you, Jeff?
Angela's there pretty much all the time. That business really has to have a hands-on owner there because of the alcohol involved. I mean, alcohol can, imagine that can bring out the worst in some people sometimes. So it's better for one of us to be there and be on top of that stuff. So Angela's usually there. We have a great local manager, Jeannie. But I'm always available for a phone call. Fred is always available. And I encourage you, I've told the secretary, Fred, our partner, if you call down to Jasper and talk to the mayor and talk to the local sheriff, he's done a great job down there. That community is so open to him. We're very responsible business people, and we would like to work with y'all to help Eureka grow. We don't need the next boom, folks. We have a good boom. The economy's better than it's ever been. The stock market's on a rise, and Eureka's numbers aren't. So we need to work together to make that happen. Okay? Nice to meet y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Did you turn it back on?
All right, that concludes public comments for this evening. Next item is new business resolution for the mid-year budget adjustment.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
Okay. Any comments? We've tried to rearrange this a little bit to help make it more conforming.
No, I make a motion that we sign the resolution and number and read it for passage.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay. I did get ahead of myself.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Schneider,
Yep.
Ms. Adamson,
No.
Ms. Kendrick,
Yes.
Mr. McClung.
Yes.
5-1. The resolution number will be 715. Resolution amending the adopted 2017 budgets for the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, as a result of the mid-year budget review process. Whereas, in the opinion of the City Council, the 2017 fiscal budget should be amended to reflect the following changes in both revenue and expenditure budgetary amounts as set forth hereafter. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, Section 1. This resolution shall be known as the 2017 Mid-Year Budget Resolution for the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, for the 12-month period beginning January 1, 2017, and ending December 31, 2017. And the attached documents present revisions to estimates for revenues and expenditures for that period. All revenues and appropriations are based on estimated revenues, and all estimates are subject to change during the budgetary period. Section 2. The amounts for revenues and expenditures proposed in this 2017 mid-year amended budget are hereby authorized and appropriated for the purposes set forth the calendar year ending December 31, 2017. The amendments are as follows. From the general fund expense sides, the original budgeted amount for transfers out general capital was $150,000. The amended budget is $91,000. That is a decrease of $59,000. In professional services legal, the original budget was $31,332, amended $65,332, an increase of $34,000. For supplies, office, and operating, the original budget was $3,500, amended $4,500, an increase of $1,000. Salaries and wages, original budget $705,922, amended $717,922, an increase of $12,000. Payroll taxes, original budget $67,193, amended $68,193, an increase of $1,000. Maintenance, operation vehicle, original budget $38,000, amended budget $31,000, a decrease of $7,000. Maintenance building, original budget $2,500, amended budget $9,500, an increase of $7,000. Salaries and wages, original budget $624,289, amended $629,789, an increase of $5,500. Miscellaneous expense, nothing was in the original budget. Amended budget, $5,500, an increase of $5,500. Maintenance operation of vehicle, original budget $40,000, amended $36,000, a decrease of $4,000. Telephone, original budget $5,500, amended budget $6,500, an increase of $1,000. Utilities, original $10,000, amended $13,000, an increase of $3,000. In the street fund expenses, for professional services, the original budget was $20,000, the amended budget $19,700, a decrease of $300. Telephone was $2,000, amended $2,300, an increase of $300. Water and sewer on the expense side, maintenance, operation and maintenance, $3,500 was in the original budget, amended $34,000, a decrease of $1,000. Power for pumps in the original budget was $5,000, amended $6,000, an increase of $1,000. Building maintenance was $4,000, amended to $2,000, a decrease of $2,000. For disposal of sludge in the original budget, it was $20,000, now $22,000, an increase of $2,000. For maintenance of vehicles, original budget $20,000, now $19,000, a decrease of $1,000. Telephone was $3,000, amended to $4,000, an increase of $1,000. For maintenance, operations and maintenance, it was $175,000 in the original budget, now $165,000, a decrease of $10,000. Professional services, original budget $30,000, amended budget $40,000, an increase of $10,000. On the transit fund revenue, reimbursement from preventative maintenance, originally budget $0, amended budget $5,000, an increase of $5,000. On the expense side, for transit, for employee health insurance, originally it was $14,800, now it is $24,490, an increase of $9,690. For insurance vehicle, original $35,080, amended to $30,390, a decrease of $4,690. For maintenance, that is supplies, maintenance and supplies for vehicles, originally it was $54,000, now it is $60,250, an increase of $6,250. Maintenance, fuel and oil, original $75,000, now $70,000, a decrease of $5,000. Beginning fund balance was $197,000 in the original budget, $197,257, now $186,007, a decrease of $11,250.
Thank you. All right, next item is council and grants. Motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Second. He made the motion, Bob.
Mr. Thomas?
I have a handout, if you don't mind taking a minute for that. That way.
Thank you.
I have some concerns I would like to ask the city attorney about with regards to the Berry Hollow Trail grant, which the
Parks and Rec is planning to spend the money on an exercise circuit at the community center. If you look at the newspaper article that's attached,
Oh, the state grant, oh.
so I have a couple of questions about it, Mr. Weaver. If you look at the grant, do you have a copy of this?
Here, you can use mine.
I got an extra one.
Oh, I'll just use it, thanks.
Okay. The grant says, in the first whereas, it says this project using federal funding, that's referring to the Dairy Hollow Trail, will be open and available for use by the general public and maintained by the applicant for the life of the project. And then under Section 1, it says the City of Eureka Springs will participate in accordance with its designated responsibility, including maintenance of this project. Does that mean we're going to be maintaining that trail forever, even though it's on private, essentially private property?
Which trail?
Well, the one they're going to build at the community center.
I don't know, because I don't know if that's a requirement of the grant or not, because the trail it's talking about in this is obviously
Dairy Hollow.
not being built.
Yeah, right. And then under Section 2, it says the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute all appropriate agreements and contracts necessary to expedite the construction of the above stated project. So the final straw is that the mayor signs off on all expenditures, even grant monies. Is that correct?
It's pretty typical, yes.
So if this council authorized the mayor to spend this money on the Dairy Hollow Trail, the mayor really couldn't authorize expenditures at the community center, could he?
Again, it would come down to the actual terms of the grant, whether the grant was made to the city or whether the grant was made to the Parks Department.
Okay.
And I don't know. I haven't seen the grant application, nor have I seen the grant itself.
If I can interject here, it sounds like we're getting into some questions. I would like to defer this and have the Parks Director here, because I think he's the one that's going to be able to answer some of these questions, what you're getting into.
I do have one more thing that's just really driving me crazy. If you look at the newspaper article, in the second column, the last paragraph says, Featherstone said that the Community Center Foundation would try to save as much money as possible on the project, working with local construction companies at a discounted rate. If there's any money left over after that, Featherstone, the money could go towards the city's sidewalk project. Does that make, it sounds to me like Parks is handing the money to the community center and they're going to build the trail?
Mr. Thomas?
Okay. I'll defer it.
I understand your concern.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, I think we need to have Mr. Featherstone here to answer the question. I can't speak for him. I don't know what he means or what his intent is. So I don't think it's fair to make any judgments without having their input in here.
I agree with that. And I also totally understand what Mr. Thomas's questions are. And I raise them because if we put 20% local match and the community center is a private entity, it's a big concern of mine. So I guess we're going to table this. But I would also hope that the city attorney gives us his legal opinion after reviewing this and has a chance to look at the grant and do some research and not just rely on Mr. Featherstone's view of what this is.
Or the newspaper.
The newspaper.
My understanding was that this was not going around, this was going around the community center. It would impact the community center, but again, I think we need to have better clarification. Yes, ma'am.
I would also like the city attorney to address the possibility of the fact that the community center leases the property from the school board, and in the event that the community center defaults, that any improvements that are made by the city on that property may no longer be dedicated to the public use. And therefore, I am concerned, as I recall, when we passed Resolution 691, which you also passed out, I'm very concerned that we may have, the city may have an obligation to repay the funds under that circumstance. And so I have the same concerns about rededicating the funds that are the subject of resolution number 656 as I did with the funds that were the subject of resolution number 691.
Ms. Schneider?
Ownership of the community center, why is it being referred to as private? I'm looking to David because he was saying it, and then Tim.
It's a private nonprofit organization that is leasing the building.
Okay,
from
so the school board is considered private, or is the community center?
The foundation is a nonprofit, private nonprofit. It's not a city.
Okay, for some reason, I was of the impression that the community center was us, the community. And that this is a board running it for the community. That's what I thought.
But it's not the city.
Well, it's the
you're
community,
right.
but so how can that
It's
be
the word
private?
community. It is the community of the city of Eureka Springs, but it's not the city entity.
It's
the
not
city
this entity at the table.
does not have anything to do with it.
So since this is a board acting on behalf of the community, how can it be considered private? That's pretty much my question.
It's not a government agency, so therefore it is a private agency.
So even though it's the whole community, it's considered private?
Yes.
That's weird.
Everybody in the community could belong to an organization, but if the organization wasn't sanctioned by law as a government entity, it would be a private organization.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, I'll go ahead and have Mr. Featherstone and Mr. Hess show up at our next meeting to answer
Do
your
you want a
questions.
motion to table it until then?
Please.
Do it, sir?
Yes, I'll make a motion that this be tabled till the next meeting.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so moved. All right, next item is motion to discuss codification of the ordinances.
I so move.
A second.
Ms. Kendricks?
Yes. The approved motion regarding the city code in our June 2nd, 2017 meeting that was made by Mr. Mitchell was that, quote, "The clerk established a timeline for further codification activities to bring it back to council for the budget," close quote. I watched the city council meeting online to confirm the substance of that motion. Instead, the June 12th, 2017 minutes read, quote, "A timeline for the budget," close quote. Such description of Mr. Mitchell's motion really makes no sense. The city clerk, in over 2 months, has not addressed the city council concerning her timeline for updating the city code. Therefore, I feel it necessary to accurately reflect in the minutes the City Council's intent concerning the updating of the city code. And therefore, I have 2 motions I would like to make. The first one is, and I will pass this around so that you all have it in writing. Excuse me, I believe I still have the floor. Does everybody have a copy? The motion is, be it resolved that the city code be brought up to current date by the city clerk by October 31st, 2017, that $1,000 be allocated from account number 01-10-5571 for the purpose of said update to the city code, and that the city clerk report to the city council in the city council meetings of September 11th, 2017 and October 9th, 2017 about her process in updating the city code.
For purpose of discussion, I'll second it, and then I have a question.
Okay.
This looks like, the handout we just got looks like the codification, and I'm going to have to ask the city clerk, but I think is this all codification of the ordinances up to date?
No,
But it's part of them?
correct.
So then in essence, this motion that was made could still be applicable?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
May I ask the clerk how many more ordinances have to be done like this? How many more?
Roughly 6.
Okay, thank you.
6 was the answer. I believe.
Roughly 6.
Okay,
Okay. Mr.
great.
Mitchell.
This
One
is
other question.
awesome.
The $1,000, has that been allocated? Does anybody know if that was allocated so you would have that money to do it?
I thought we allocated that by
I thought we
motion.
allocated
That's-
3,000.
we made a motion
No, it
for
wasn't.
that.
The motion said 1,000. It didn't. It was very unclear in the minutes, but the purpose of it was
I
that
think it
1,000.
said up to 1,000 or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So the process would be the clerk would send in a bill for that. It's technically, we moved it. You moved it from something. I forgot.
She will get a bill from the state, if I'm not mistaken.
From
Is that
Muni
correct?
Code.
Yes.
I could explain this easily right now.
Okay. Please, ma'am.
There's a new batch of folks in Little Rock doing the code updating. When I got the nod from council to proceed, the okay to spend the money, I sent in what had already been prepared because they were getting ready to take off for municipal league. And what happens when new cities come on, the people in Little Rock get inundated with requests to update their code books. So, by sending, my question was, if I send in what's ready now, are we in the front of the queue? The answer was yes. Out it went. What came back, they were very kind in an attempt to save us money. And what came back, I'm so glad I didn't send the whole thing, because it had to be reworked again, sent back again, which is why your cover sheet has those notations.
Okay.
So in that process, we worked out a system that will allow future updates to go much more smoothly. It took a lot of back and forth, some finessing, some agreeing. It's not a mechanical process. Humans are involved, interpretation is involved. I have a standard in mind, and they were cooperative in adjusting to what I was asking for. So in the future, I anticipate that things will be much more, I have the floor, much smoother, and it would be virtually impossible for me to assure providing a product by a specific date, because there has to be some give and take. I will proceed as quickly as possible to deliver a good product. I've already explained how the process works, and I'll just keep working on it until it's all up to date. But in terms of saying that it will be done by a specific date, I can't say what the people in Little Rock will do or not do, or where we are in the line, but I'm happy to keep working on it.
Ms. Kendricks?
Who are the folks in Little Rock?
The people who work on updating the municipal code.
For what company? For the municipal
Work for the
league?
municipal
or-
league. But they're a sub-entity of the municipal league.
We have our code posted on Muni Code. How does that interface with the folks in Little Rock?
I love your air quotes. When the product is ready and it's viable, I send it to the people in Florida who actually post it online. But they're two separate groups, and they bill separately, and we communicate differently. They're not the same.
Ms. Schneider?
Excuse me. So it's not just a matter of retyping the proper way it should now be, and they copy it. It's not that simple of a process.
No, ma'am.
Okay. That's what I think a lot of people need clarified. You don't just type it up the way we want it finished and say, publish, or whatever.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Mitchell?
I understand that. I don't think our city clerk needs a date, a final date to any way to get the code up to date, because it's a process, and processes don't necessarily have in time frames, especially this one. But I was looking at the motion, and it said, and that the city clerk report to the city council in the council meetings of September 11th and October about her process in updating it. So it's not really a final date. It's just asking for updates. Because I was thinking maybe if we amended that part out, because then it says for the purpose, But then I look at what the motion says, and it's just saying that she just updates us. So I'm not.
I can do it. I mean, I am doing it.
Why? I see that.
It doesn't require.
Okay. Ms. Kendricks?
Well, I was just wondering why it was until I put this on the agenda that we received such a report.
Madam Clerk?
I will say again what I have said repeatedly. Any time you would like to have the answer to any question relating to the job, you are welcome to call and ask or email. I am happy to answer it. It does not require... I'm happy to do my job without being strong-armed.
I wanted the
Just ask.
I wanted the answer, not just for myself, but for City Council and for the citizens of Eureka Springs.
I'm happy to answer. I am not
Okay.
happy to be strong-armed.
All right. I don't think anybody's trying to strong-arm.
Okay.
Vicki?
It seems to me that when we start demanding an everyday activity from every city employee, elected or hired, that we're getting way out of our position. People have jobs to do, they do the jobs. If you have a question about is the job being done or not, ask the person. If it's financial, this council has to work with it, which is what we had to do when we appropriated money. There's no reason to sit there and constantly ask people, why are you doing, why aren't you doing, why aren't you telling us? You want a report, ask for a report. It's that simple.
Motion. Call the
Any
question.
further discussion?
Call the question.
Ms. Adamson?
I just want to say, I think it's good to talk about the code. We've got it now. This is great. The city clerk and recorder is doing a wonderful job, so I can go put this in my notebook and update what's there, which is awesome. And so it's getting done, and with this motion that's here, it's kind of tight. I would not do the motion, just because the work is being done.
you can vote against it. That's fine. Mr. McClung?
The only question I have is that when you take these and prepare them for the state, are they pretty much verbatim as they're presented to you as we vote on them?
I'm not clear about your question.
I'm just as an ordinance is prepared that we approve. That's what goes in here. I mean, the verbiage isn't changed.
No, how it gets plugged into the code book is not cut and dry. The language that's included in the ordinance, those specifics are taken and plugged in, but it's not always a clean fit. Sometimes a portion of it goes in several places. It takes...
But the intent of the ordinance does not change.
Correct, nor does the verbiage.
Okay. That's why I want to make sure that, I mean, it's what we vote on is what goes in.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes.
Ms. Kendrick?
If Mr. Mitchell will withdraw his second, I will amend my motion.
Oh, I'll withdraw it.
I will read it as amended. Be it resolved that $1,000 be allocated from account number 01-10-5571 for the purpose of update to the city code, and that the city clerk report to the city council in the city council meetings of September 11th, 2017 and October 9th, 2017 about her process in updating the city code.
That's the same motion.
No, I am deleting that the city code be brought up to the current date by the city code,
By
by the
October
city
31st.
clerk by October 31st.
Is there a second?
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I thought we were discussing. I'll second, then I'll discuss.
Okay.
How's that?
Mr.
I have
Thomas?
a question for Mr. Weaver. In a previous conversation we had, you mentioned, you made the statement that no elected official can tell any other elected official what to do.
You could request, as you do of the mayor, sometimes that he bring you a report about something.
So this could be rewritten as a request, but we can't tell her.
You really can't tell them how to do their job.
Thank you.
Mr. Mitchell?
But we can allocate the 1,000 from the account over.
You can do that.
You did.
But I think you may have already done that, maybe not by the account number.
Well, wait, let's carry this just a little bit farther. Did you just say that you can't tell another elected official how to do their job?
That's correct.
Okay, so let's go to the minutes discussion that we've had.
I think we're getting off tangents.
We probably are. I think I'll save that for another
I think
time.
we're getting off tangent. Yeah, we're talking about updating the code and trying to keep it on track with,
We'll keep it to that agenda topic and save the other for later.
that's what the motion's about.
If I could say just a little something for Mr. McClung's edification. If there's a difference in what is in the code book and what is in an ordinance, the ordinance prevails by law. So it shouldn't change. And the intent is for Little Rock not to change it when they put it together. But if it does change, state law says that the acts overcome the codification.
Thank you.
Ms. Snyder?
Okay, so if we've already done the money part, we don't need to do this again, right? We've already allocated the money.
I don't know that you
months ago.
specifically gave it the number,
No,
Does it matter?
there was not a line item number.
but I'm not sure where you're putting it into what line item number.
Okay, but we already allocated money. So it may not have been worded like...
$1,000 or less.
Right. Okay, so we've already allocated the money, and as elected people, we cannot tell another elected person how to do something, so doesn't that make this whole thing null and void?
I'm not sure it has a real purpose, but I'm not getting into that because I'm not one of the 6 that votes on it. if you feel it's necessary, you can vote for it. If you're, I don't really have a legal opinion in it as to that.
So, if the mayor's already said he's going to spend it, and the clerk's going to give him the receipt, and he's already said he's going to write the check, or Lonnie's going to write the check, I'm going to leave it that way. I'm going to just leave it to the mayor's.
Are we ready for the motion to be heard?
We did hear the motion. Did we get a second?
No, that's it.
Yes,
I think
Bob
we did.
seconded.
Bob seconded.
Oh,
Yeah.
he seconded. It's time to.
I'm ready to call. All right. All those in favor of the motion as read, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, signify by saying nay.
Nay.
No.
No.
All right. Fails.
I have a second motion
Okay.
I'd like to make. I would like to make a motion that a committee be established by the City Council to investigate alternatives to the electronic posting of the city code via municode.com, which alternatives may be less costly than municode.com, and permit real-time alterations to the electronically posted city code, i.e., alterations occurring simultaneously or very close to the effective date of the ordinance. Do you want me to read it again? I can pass it out.
Do you have copies of that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Obviously, for the sake of discussion, because I do believe we're going to need it, I'll second it.
Okay. Does everybody have a copy?
I do not.
Here, I have an extra.
Thanks.
All right, we got a motion second. Mr. McClung?
Yeah, I'm not, I mean, are there services that do that, or you're saying doing that in-house?
Yes, I was very surprised to hear that the reason that our city code had not been updated for so many years was for cost, for reasons of cost restraints. And it seems so easy nowadays to post things online that I would like a committee to look at the possibility that maybe we could post our city code online for free, and also have the ability to make sure that it is constantly current. And that was the reason that I suggested that we look into this.
Yeah, if I may continue. Do they not have to pass through the municipal league for approval before we can do anything? Before we can actually put
Still
them?
have to have them codified.
Do they? Pardon me?
Still have to have them be codified. And if I'm not mistaken, is that correct?
And that's done by the municipal league?
Updating the code, I'm going to say up front, dealing with human beings to get it right requires finesse. If we turn it loose to an electronic system and it goes out there and happens automatically, if there were a mistake, I mean, I'm very concerned about taking the human element out of
I
it.
think the question was, if it goes to municipal league for codification, correct?
You're talking about putting it in the code book?
When we pass it, it has to, does it have to, can it be completed and put in the book from here, or does it have to go to the municipal league and get looked over and they check off on it or something? Is that,
They don't check off on it. Mostly they serve as the physical means to convert ordinances to a code book for municipalities in Arkansas, many of which don't have the staff to do what I do. They provide a service. They are taking the ordinances and converting them into a code book and sending the product back.
that's what this is?
That's what that is. And I'm really glad the human element was in play.
Ms. Kendrick?
Right now, I'm not talking about analyzing the whole process right here at the table. All I'm suggesting is that a committee be established to investigate alternatives, and I'm sure that such a committee would look into the role that the Municipal League would play in this process.
Ms. Adamson?
If a committee is established, would that committee then be telling the clerk how to do her job? And if that is the case, then we can't do it.
Mr. Weaver?
I suppose potentially it could be that it would be instructing her how to do her job. And that would not be proper. Now, I would, if you do form your committee, I'd remind you that we went through all this about 8-9 years ago. We dropped the Muni code. We used another code. They dropped the ball. It created havoc. We had to go back to the Municipal League and have them redo it.
One of the worst things that happened in the city.
And that took a long time to fix. And money.
A couple of years.
Ms. Kendrick?
Well, I think a lot has happened in the computer world in the last 8 years, and I'm not suggesting that the committee interfere at all in the city clerk's job, but simply examine different ways of posting the city code online.
After it's gone through the Municipal League and Codification. That's what you're saying. All right, Ms. Snyder.
What?
That's not the way I'm reading this motion.
That
Ms.
has
Snyder.
me totally lost and confused. Okay. So basically what it comes down to is when we change something here, can it be immediately added to our codes that we have online for when people are looking for something, maybe with a little tag on there, not yet codified, as opposed to waiting until it would go through the proper legal steps?
Are you asking me directly?
I'm asking both you and Tim.
I could answer it.
Go.
Formally putting it in the book is formalizing it. In actuality, anyone who wants to know what has happened that will be going into the code book, all they have to do is look at the ordinances that are online. And they can see what will be coming into the code book. It's already readily available electronically online.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
it's just not integrated into the book.
So it's
But it is
basically not yet codified. Available, but not yet codified.
Yes, but, I mean, that's understood. It doesn't need to have a flag.
Okay.
Well, if it goes online and it's an ordinance, and the attorney says that the municipal league, if there was a difference in what the municipal, the codification wrote and the ordinance wrote, the ordinance stands. So the ordinance becomes the biggest document. So I'm not buying off on a committee to. I'm having problems.
All right, any further discussion? think we got a motion and a second. I'm going to go ahead and do a roll call.
This is for
The motion.
creating a
The
committee.
committee. The
Okay,
motion is.
so that's been seconded, okay.
Yeah.
Creating a committee to look into the different systems.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. McClung,
No.
Ms. Kendrick,
Yes.
Ms. Adamson,
No.
Mr. Thomas,
No.
Ms. Schneider,
Nope.
Mr. Mitchell.
No.
1-5.
All right, motion fails. All right. The second item is a continuing discussion of possible meeting places. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. I know we've been talking about some various places. One of the places was the building where Dr. Beard's office is, across from the hospital. I've given you in your packet a potential floor plan that can show a layout of that building for your consideration. It can work. Mr. McClung and I and another person went up there and measured it and had it drafted up. We've got a cost probably around $30,000, $20,000. I haven't finalized all the costs on that yet, but it's going to be maybe around $25,000. Moving the video equipment plus demolition, remodeling. But we'll get some more figures in there as we come up.
That's for that one room?
That's for that building.
That one, okay. Because you got
That Beards.
Because you got two pictures.
Yes.
Okay, so that's for that one.
That's 25 North Street. Since then, the fire chief and has come up again, talked about it, right across the street. At one time, we talked about taking and remodeling that facility. This would still leave the fire truck in the building, a fire truck. There's one in there now, still be in there. I showed 24 seats, but actually probably end up about 35 more. I mean, we've got plenty of space in there. And putting in new doors, a new ceiling, power washing, painting, putting in the bathroom. There's plumbing in there already, but we'd still have to put in the public bathroom as such. And we're looking at probably somewhere around $20,000 in that case.
Even with the new HVAC you have on there?
We don't, what's saving the money is we don't have the $13,000 for transferring the video.
So that's the additional cost of my computers.
So the fire truck would be on this side?
Uh-huh.
And there's a wall, or is this
There's
upstairs?
not a wall there. There's two columns up there.
Yeah.
That's supporting the beam. That's what those two little squares indicate.
So looking at it like if it was directly across from here, the truck would be on this side, we'd be on this side?
Correct.
All on the main floor?
Right.
Okay.
I had it originally reversed, but then I got to thinking keeping the toilet over there on the left would be better in the fire truck and keep, be less obstruction. The other option too is we do have the hospital is very, very interested in renting out Dr. Beard's office. So there's potential income coming in there and keeping that as an income producing facility.
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
One is the timeline on these?
We could still be in either one of them by the first of the year.
Okay, and the second one is where would the income from the rental of the building go if the hospital commission were to rent it
General
out?
revenue,
Okay.
where most of our money goes to, into there. Mr. Mitchell?
The fire department looks interesting. The problem with the configuration for city council is it doesn't meet one of the concerns that those with disability had, and that's everybody facing, and so that they can do the lip reading. If that could be worked out, that might be an option. The second one is on Dr. Beard's office over there. That is city property. It's been city property for a long time. And is that not a full basement under that house?
There's a
It's not
full
showing?
basement. Well, not a full basement, but a half basement.
And a half basement, and it's sheetrock. It's
It would need some work to be cleaned up.
to be cleaned up, but it's watertight and it is functional. So there is extra storage down there to do other things. And what was the opportunity to use these offices for? Was there any thought?
Just additional office space. We've got the extra space there. So.
So what was the income potentially going to be on that office? $1,000 a month or less?
$1,500 a month, $1,200, minimum $1,200, and we're still trying to figure out getting what good monthly rents are going for around there. It's a run and run, anywhere from 80 cents to $1.25 a square foot.
The problem with over there though also is unless something's done and the new hospital gets built or something, the parking is really rough over there. And so you may have 40 seats, and if 2 people came, that's 20 cars, and whoa, that's going to be interesting. But it is nice to have a permanent meeting space, I'll agree.
And just speaking of that is one of the concerns you're talking about, and trying to do the V-shape, what I call a U-shape or a V-shaped table. And we're still going to be having, part of the cost is having hearing amplification on there for people. It's basically, the fire station has the same situations we have here right now.
Right.
So, there's not much difference. I looked at U-shape, basic U-shape. This is a U-shape configuration, in essence, what we have. The only difference with the V-shape is it spreads it out so people can see. But we also recognize when we were at the auditorium, at least for me, it's hard for me to see people at one end to the other end sometimes.
So does the video equipment that we currently have here, if it goes across to the fire department, can that still be live broadcast because it's so close?
Correct.
So that is an advantage at the fire department. That is an advantage. Okay, thank you.
Huge advantage.
Mr. McClung?
Well, and the fire department looks like you could actually squeeze more seats in if you needed to.
You can't. Correct.
Probably at least like you have 16 there, you could get close to double that probably.
Yeah.
The thing about the building by the hospital is that additional office space. It could, it seems to me the offices there and what could be done in office space in the basement, that it could relieve some of the pressure in this building that the city has. And so that's pretty valuable space too. There's still a strong place in my heart for this. I understand this, and I'm a little softer than I was an hour ago. But
I noticed.
But I'm just. This has got so much potential. Talking about the building up at the hospital.
Yeah.
For additional space, it's more than just the $1,200 rent. It could really do good things for the personnel here.
That's true.
Yes, it could.
Mr. Thomas?
Well, I know that Mr. McClung has seen one facility. I don't know if you've been in a fire station, I'm sure. You've been in a fire station. There are others sitting here that have seen neither one of them. I would like to suggest that we have scheduled a 5 o'clock workshop in 2 weeks and take a tour of both of them.
Well, the one up there, what you're going to see at Dr. Beard's office is set up as a doctor's office.
Correct. Right.
So this is nothing, you won't see what we have.
Oh, you don't see the remodeling until it's been remodeled.
Yeah.
Also, we'd probably have to do it a little bit earlier, but we could arrange for that.
Bob, to help you, the two offices are exam rooms right now, and that AD is a current bathroom. So the big space here was knocking out Dr. Beard's office and a couple exam rooms, and then where that says mantle down there, that's where the waiting room is. So it's anyway, just to help you as you're thinking about what's going on. These aren't all new walls over here on the left, is what I'm telling you.
Yeah. Ms. Kendrick?
A couple of things on the fire station. I would like to observe that if we did have a huge meeting, the fire truck probably could be pulled out for the term of that meeting. But I have a concern about the security of that fire truck. If somebody starts fiddling with hoses or something, might that be a problem?
I'm presuming that people are going to be sitting here. We will have people watching people. I mean, I think that would be taken care of. I mean, I had a similar concern too. And Nick, actually, the fire chief, said we can also move the fire truck out. Of course, what's to keep them? I mean, when they move it out, there'd be a fireman there, and that can be happened also. So
The problem with that is that the set ties up a crew down here, and then you got to bring another one in, and that costs money. I mean, that's not that's not practical.
I think I think it'd be handled without a problem from that.
You can always cordon it off with some tape, or there's a way to do it.
Or a piece of rope in there. So
Throw some plastic
real
over
nice.
it.
Yeah.
Chainmail.
Mickey.
Okay. The basic thing that we're forgetting about, apparently, we're doing this for the citizenry, not for ourselves, not to help for this, that, or the other. We're doing it for the citizens. I've been in both places. This one, the fire station, is right across the street from where everybody's used to going. 5 tons of parking, flat, level. Everybody knows that they can't get lost, confused, or have any problems whatsoever getting in or out. Dr. Beard's office, with a bunch of work, it would work out and be a little bit bigger, and I love the idea of having storage. But people-wise, pain in the butt. We are doing this for the people, and it keeps our live feed, which a lot of people have been against us moving because of live feed. So I think, thinking about the fire station, I've seen the architect's drawing. Oh my God, it's beautiful when it's done. We really have to consider all levels of doing this for the people. Just want everybody to remember that.
Ms. Adams.
I've been in both also. The fire station, as you have it set up here, is, the only difference from this room and over there is that there's seating for an audience, but we've still got the same problem of a closed-off unit, which I find, for me and the constituents, I feel that by opening things up more, there's much more involvement by the citizenry. I do like the Dr. Beard place, and you're saying that the offices could be, the hospital wanted to rent them out?
No, the hospital wants the whole building.
Oh. But the city owns this building, right? It's not the hospital. Okay. So, these offices would be really nice. But I agree that we should have a workshop where we go and look at these places to see what would work. In the bid that you have here, the estimate...
They're not bids.
I understand that. The estimated cost of remodeling for the Dr. Beard's office, that includes the $13,000 for getting the live feed over there too?
Correct.
Okay. That's not bad. That's reasonable.
Bob, did you make a motion on that, or was that just, did you make a motion, or was that just
I'm thinking I'm the only one that hasn't seen these places, so maybe...
No,
after this meeting.
But did you make it into a motion?
No, but I will make a motion that we meet at 5 o'clock, 2 weeks from
How about
today. And
schedule a site?
Better make it
The
4.
next meeting.
Make it 4.
Make it
meet at
4.
4 o'clock.
Will he still be seeing patients?
No, I don't think so. We can coordinate it. I
Yeah,
don't
plan on
remember
Monday.
what his schedule was on Mondays. Do you
I don't think
remember?
he's on Monday.
We will meet at 4 o'clock, first meeting in September, and tour the two.
I will coordinate with him to make sure that we
And
can do
I'll
that.
second what he did,
What he did.
that motion.
To meet at Dr. Beard's and then to go to the fire station.
Yeah. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so moved. I will make sure we'll go through that.
September 11th.
All right, second financials update. We had our financial workshop beforehand. The good news, bad news. The department heads and our departments are doing a great job of keeping their expenses down. We're looking at the expenses of, we should be around, because of July, around 58% fiscal year completed, and our expenses are 50%. So they've done a great job. We're 8% below the expenses. The bad news is our revenues are also down. We're 47% for our revenues, but we also haven't hit our peak seasons yet, so we're expecting that to come up. This is not uncommon. Every year we we see this offset as we are in every year. But with total overall, we're a minus $75,000. But a lot of that also goes to, we have $130,000 in capital expenditures that are budgeted but not funded. And we will probably expect to fund those and have enough revenue coming in that we will be paying for those at this point. So our total year to date, we're, overall, like I said, we're a minus $75,000. But compared to where we've been in the past, we're doing pretty good. So that's kind of a brief update on that. So, unless there's any questions. All right, our next item is need a motion to discuss November 13th.
I'd like to make a motion to discuss the November 13th, 2017 City Council meeting.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay.
I would like to ask for the courtesy of the rest of the council to consider rescheduling such meeting. I will be out of town, and Kim Stryker will of course attend the meeting if necessary, but it would, I believe, also be very convenient for her if we were able to move that meeting to the week before.
Why?
Because we're on our way for a trip. We're leaving today. We would like to leave the afternoon of the meeting so that we don't have to attend that meeting.
Ms. Schneider?
Why don't you just miss a meeting like you had to last time because you were sick? I mean, we all miss a meeting at least once a year.
I simply asked for the courtesy.
And I'm
Council to
asking if there's a reason.
Yes, because I'm taking a trip and Kim Stryker's also taking a trip. I don't mind missing the meeting. Kim may.
Just asking.
Mr. Thomas?
I just think that it's a bad precedent for anybody, to start trying to adjust council meetings to like personal, even an illness. I'm sick. Can we postpone the council meeting? I think council meetings should be set. And if we don't have a quorum, we just won't have a meeting.
Mr. Mitchell?
I think I agree with that, and I also want to say I appreciate Mickey and being very courteous the way she said that. That's very nice.
I think there was a motion and a second on that. Or was there just motion to discuss? Is that it?
A request.
Just to discuss.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? All right. Agenda setting. Anyone? Mr. Mitchell?
Would it be possible to get an update from the commission chairs as to their accomplishments year-to-date and what they've got left to do, and possibly...
Would you like for me to start scheduling some at every
If they
meeting?
can come in person, not in writing.
Certainly.
Would you
Yeah.
throw the building inspector into that, and maybe department heads if they so choose?
I will
But
do that.
especially before the next, before the budget
Sure,
starts.
yeah, we'll see if we can get them in the next couple of meetings.
And nothing big, just what they think they accomplished, they were happy about, where they're going.
Yeah.
Police and fire too?
All the departments.
All department heads and
Yeah.
commissions. Yes, ma'am. If you agree with that.
Yeah, that's no problem. I can go ahead and do that. That doesn't need to be on the agenda. I'll just go ahead and take care of it.
Thank you.
Anything else, anybody? All right, city council comments. Ms. Adams, we'll start on left and go right.
Well, today I brought more flowers, and these go to Terry today.
And Terry's the award-winning flower
Terry wins the flowers and the little vase, just because
I feel so honored.
you should feel honored.
God bless America.
I wanted to say also that there is about to be a protest up in Springfield, Missouri, to protest Donald Trump's existence. And
I wish we wouldn't talk those politics here. I
yeah.
don't think there's,
Well, I'm just
not
saying, there's
necessary.
people going up there, and what I'm trying to say is this: people, be safe. We're in volatile times, and I want anybody who goes, whatever they might feel, to just be safe when you go there. Be sensible. Thank you.
That's fair.
Stay on the side.
Yeah, Ms. Schneider.
Okay, I have our EUREKA update. I finally got the numbers that I didn't get the day after, not last time. In 2011, which was our first year, we had 76 people try for the EUREKA, which is the triathlon on Friday, the 100-mile race on Saturday, and the 10K run on Sunday. This year, we only had 67, but that was because this year we also started a half EUREKA. And that one had 34, so when you put those together, that's 111. So we were way up in that regard. Triathlon, first year 80, this year 55. Now, what you have to understand is this breakdown on these runs and races and rides and stuff. You have your group of people who are doing the EUREKA, which is all of the major activities. Then you have people that are just doing one or two. So if we have 55 people doing the triathlon, when you add in the people doing the EUREKA, there was 156 people doing the triathlon. So that's how it works, because anybody that wants, you can do an individual activity, or you can do all of it. We had a 50% increase in the bike rides this year, and I don't do bikes, so it's taken me 7 years now to learn that you have bike races and bike rides. 100-miler is a ride. A short one, the 21-miler, is a race. I still don't get it, but that's the difference. So we got rid of races, only did rides. We had a 50% increase. In every single category, it was a major increase in the last 7 years, and it's been up from every single year. The biggest part, those are just the numbers. Here's the fun part. 95% of the people who came and competed were outside of the 726 area code or zip code area. These are 95% of the 700 plus people came from elsewhere. They stayed here, they slept here, they ate here, they shopped here. 95%. That's incredible. First timers this year, 177. Almost all of which said they were going to bring their training groups. For the first time this year, we actually had groups that worked out together, trained together, rode together, that did their races together. When you're seeing a group doing a 100-mile race, run, ride, whatever, and there's like 24 people, they stay together. We have never seen this before. This is the first year we had groups. They stayed together on all of it. It was incredible. So we had 177 new timers. Our oldest racer was 85 years old. Did the whole Eureka.
Way to go.
Yes, incredible. I couldn't go a block. Our youngest was 7 years old. Well, and they primarily do the runs and stuff like that. Our fastest 100-miler, 100 miles through this area, 3 counties, all this stuff, 4 hours and 44 minutes. The longest time was 9 hours and 24 minutes. The part that blew us away when I asked him to look, that would have been me next week.
Add a day or two.
I asked him to look this year. We've never paid any attention. 17 states came to Eureka Springs to compete, including the state of Washington, Ohio, Georgia, Mississippi, and Wyoming. The rest of them, of course, were our nearby neighbors who you would expect to come. The person from Wyoming used to live in Oklahoma, moved to Wyoming, has been doing the Eureka every single year. This was year 7. He actually took extra time off from work, flew out here to compete, and flew home. That is being an athlete. Okay, 17 states. Are y'all ready for this? If you're sitting, this is good at home. Sit. 5 countries: England, Netherlands, Oman, Macau, and Argentina came to compete. That says so much right there. These are regular athletes that do stuff all over their areas and stuff like that. They were given a questionnaire out of every place, and between all of them, they cover a whole lot of athletic sports and stuff. Eureka Springs has the #1 volunteer base. We have more volunteers, more friendly volunteers, more helpful volunteers than any place else that they compete. That's our people, guys. The only problem we had this year was that school started the day after the race. Last year, it was a week later. This year, we didn't have as many people competing as we thought because school started the day after the final 3-day event. That really hurt. People are talking about going back to the federal school thing that says all public schools will start the day after Labor Day. As far as we know, that law is going to be changed. Even though all the places are starting in August, which is really tourism, so then most people like all tourist areas are losing 2 weeks ahead of because of that. There's some people who are against it because it does get congested, and I'm right down here so I see the traffic and stuff. The thing to think about is, am I inconvenienced for 5 minutes or for a mile? But is the city getting ahead? When you have 700 competitors who bring family, friends, kids for a 3-day event, which means they're here a day early, and unless you're school, stay an extra day, that means a lot to the city. It really does. It's been mentioned about taking the finishing line from the courthouse here and maybe utilizing the community center. Well, that kind of defeats half the purpose of doing it in Eureka. And we do have 2 lanes. We have finally figured out how to do 2 lanes of traffic. So it's stuff that y'all need to think about how this is helping the city. The businesses. Most of the businesses say they're really down, slow during the main part on Saturday when we got all these 100 milers coming in. And boy, then when they pick up, they do better than they normally would on a Saturday. So it's a matter of, this is awesome for the city. And we would love to have you volunteer. Give me a call. That's my report. Oh my goodness.
Bob?
No, ask her. I can run for now.
Mr. McClung?
Really enjoyed the cake runs when they were here, and I know there were some other fun things that I missed. I love fun things that
just something from the CAPC as a reminder. There'll be more information coming out in much more detail. But the CAPC sponsored a new citywide app that should roll out here toward about in the 1st of September. And that app is with a private entity. The person has here developed this as a tourism app. It is absolutely phenomenal. There will be a huge marketing rollout. We're looking at iPad kiosks at the transit centers that people can walk up, open the app. The things that we can tell you where parking is, you've got bathrooms, it knows every distance in town. If you want a steak, it pops up and shows you the restaurants, and it geocaches you where you are, and this is where you need to go. What it does for EUREKA in its entirety, not just the people that are collecting the tax, but the retail businesses, the city, what it does for the guests is absolutely phenomenal. It'll be on the iPhones first, and it'll take about 6 months to get to Android. So it will take a little bit. I'm sure Mike will give you some more information, but there will be a big rollout at hopefully at the auditorium for all the businesses in town to come and actually see the app, see what it does. Again, it should not be underestimated. This is quite something remarkable for the city and its guests.
Well, speaking of events, and Mr. McClung was absolutely right. The Cake Brothers brought out a tremendous crowd in the park. If you weren't there, you missed it. It was just a great musical time. And we also having the banjo rallies coming up the 1st and 2nd of September. It's going to be a banjo convention, I guess, up in the Ozarks all day on Friday and Saturday and in the evenings. So if you enjoy banjo music, there's going to be some around town. Also, that Saturday the 9th, or on the 2nd, we'll have our Saturday drumming in the park from 6 to 8 in the Basin Park. City Hall will be closed, I think it's the 4th, Monday is Labor Day. So our offices will be closed. But on the 5th and 6th, the day following that, again, this is something that the CAPC and the Arkansas Parks and Tourism are co-sponsoring, is a hospitality club. It's open to everyone in the city. If you have a business, whether it's a restaurant, lodging, or a retail shop, come our business owners to get out and send your employees to come down. It's a great way to pick up some tidbits about the hospitality that the state has and what our CAPC is doing. One of my favorite car shows of coming up on the 8th and 9th, the following weekend, is the Antique Car Show. It's going to be up the Passion Play. It's grown so large that Pine Mountain can't handle it. So they moved it over to the Passion Play grounds. And then at 4 o'clock on Saturday, they're going to have a parade. They'll start the Passion Play and go around the historic loop and then down and around Spring Street and back to the Passion Play. And then immediately after that, we'll have once again, our famous bank robbery downtown. And it's always a lot of fun. We have some people that have been participating in this skit for many, many years, and it's a great little skit that we have. And if you've never seen it, get out, and it's downtown on Spring Street, and you won't be able to miss it because there'll be a lot of people running around.
Would you give the times again on that, please?
That's right after the antique parade.
Which is when?
The parade will start at 4 o'clock.
Okay, because it's always been 11 and then followed, so people, okay.
So this will be after that. And I don't know why it started at 4 o'clock this year instead of 11 o'clock. And then on the 9th, that evening, we'll have the gallery stroll from 6 to 8. And all the downtown galleries will be going on. And then also that weekend is the Woodcarvers Jamboree out at Pine Mountain Village from 8 to 5. So we've got a lot of events coming up. Be a lot of fun time, a lot of visitors coming into town. So other than that, let's get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. So moved.